what's on their minds and doesn't hold back. PD&J What's Good Today is an open format podcast hosted by Pocket and J-Dub the King. Let's talk about sports, let's talk about music, let's just have an interesting conversation. If you have any topics for us to discuss, email pdnjmediaproductionsllc@gmail.com. Tune in to PD&J What's Good Today every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube Live at J-Dub the King.
And what's good, folks? What's good? What's good? What's good? It's a brand new Wednesday on a brand new week, so you already know what that means. It's a brand new episode of PD&J What's Good Today, folks. I'm your host, Jay.
And I'm your host, Pocket. What's good? Hit the likes, hit the subscribe, hit it good, hit it live. We're here.
We're back.
Happy Ooh Year.
We already said Happy New Year last week.
We can still say it. The last time you said it. This is it. Last day.
Today's the last day.
Yeah, last day.
Really?
The last time we can say it, we can't say it next week because the 14th is the cutoff.
And who makes these rules?
Man, it's in the book.
What book? Show me that book.
We'll talk about that book later.
Anyway, folks, how your week has been? My week has been all week. Let's just say it like that. How was your week?
It's been things. You know what? I'm going to say it.
Say it.
Bananas.
BANANA.
Yep, it has bananas. But you know what? It's been good. When you can say you're working and you got things going on, that means life is good. You can't complain, right? Health, good. Family, good. Life, we always want to get better in life, no matter what we do. And we're always learning. How about that? Always learning. But you know what? Forget all that. Let's hop into this show. We got some good stuff for y'all today. What do we?
Do we? That is the question. I believe we do. Let's start it off. For those that live in the Phoenix, Arizona area.
Phoenix.
There is a new law that just went into effect. I don't know if it's good or bad, but we're here to talk about it. Desert Ridge.
Well, wait. It's good for the patrons of the Desert Ridge area.
Okay.
The stores and everything.
Okay. Now,
it's bad for the people that get in the cars.
Desert Ridge now has a new law where they're allowing you, almost like Vegas, where you can walk around with your beer or your beverage.
Not almost. It is like Vegas. It is like Vegas. You can open. It's an open beverage, open container law. Now you can walk around while you're in Desert Ridge and shop and drink. Now the thing is, I don't know if I can bring my beverage. I didn't look that far into it. I don't know if I can bring my beverage, my flask and walk around. You don't think so?
Yeah, you might get away with that.
Yeah. Okay.
But you're still taking the chance of driving with an open container.
Oh, I didn't say I was driving anywhere. They got a hotel right up there. They got a Hilton or something up there.
So I mean, you speak on it. You say, okay, it's good for the businesses around that area. I think that might cause a little bit of a controversy because doesn't Westgate allow that as well?
Yeah, Westgate does, but.
And there was a shooting at Westgate.
There's shootings at Westgate all the time.
Yeah.
But you don't have the same people that go to Westgate to go to Desert Ridge. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you can't put that in the same.
I get what you're saying, but you don't think it will cause any issues in not saying the near future, but in the future in general.
It might, but they're not looking at that. They're looking at trying to get money, people to spend money. After all, they told us not to spend money. Remember, with the whole society, they told us stop spending money after they gave us money to spend. Now they're talking about we need you to spend money because people are losing jobs.
Speaking of losing jobs, you hear Amazon laying off 18,000 employees
in the company Salesforce too.
Yeah, and they're talking about projecting within the next quarter that they're going to do another 50 to 70,000 layoffs.
And you know another thing to talk about? People don't talk about Carvana.
Yeah,
they made that big purchase, and now they may not even last throughout the year.
Made a big purchase and laid off 30-something thousand employees the next day.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy. So, going back to Desert Ridge, do you think that's going to help stimulate that economy in that area?
somebody's gonna be stimulated. It may not be the comedy, but I tell you what, I'm going up there to people watch. I want to see these people.
What's good, Mike? What's good?
What's good, Mike?
For those that are just joining us, we got a great show for you. Tune into the send us comments. We'll post them live. Talk about what you said.
You right there, man. You stumbling over words.
Man, it's been a week.
Do I need to get the security to check you real quick?
Anyway,
security.
Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. But for everybody that knows routine, hit that like button.
And don't just hit the like.
Share it.
We're trying to get the algorithm. We're trying to get everybody involved. We're worldwide. We're not just local. Hence, we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitch. We're on
Twitter.
Twitter. Whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't have that damn thing. But yeah, we're all over the place. We're all over the world. We want to be sharing. And stop hogging it, man. Share it. That's what we got to say.
I got to give a special shout out real quick. My moms, stay strong. I love you. We're here for you. We're going to get through this. Salute,
moms. We don't want to go in detail, but we're all here for you. Might have to sneak you something though.
Anywho, so let's go into a new topic. We talked about Desert Ridge. The 5 officers in Tennessee. You knew I was going there. For those that don't know, okay.
Wait a minute. You can't transition from Desert Ridge to Tennessee.
Hold on.
You can't do that.
Hold on now. Explain what happened in Tennessee and why you're laughing so hard.
So in Tennessee, 5 officers were
officers.
Well, they're no longer officers. They're unemployed right now. They're part of the massive unemployment.
Oh wow! Tell them why.
There's 4 other ones that are suspended
that are pending right now.
So that's one female who's on the way out too.
So that's a total of 10 Tennessee officers. Now keep that in mind. 10 Tennessee officers. Why?
Because they were. So you know how adult movies, they have situations of cops and cuffs and stuff like that. So apparently they were posting it on, I guess, the police group chat, and they got wind of it. HR got a wind of it, and this one girl was in the middle of it all. Put your thoughts together. In the middle of it all. In the middle. She was the main one in the middle. It was her and another one, but she was the main one in the middle, and sending provocative photos, all that stuff. Well, they all got let go. So, I don't know why.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know how it came out to be so public, but I mean, they got the pictures of the people. They've let it all go. So somebody's in trouble because of that. We know that. Somebody's definitely in trouble.
Who do you think leaked them? You think she leaked them?
I think it's one of the people that got fired. I'm betting that she said something to somebody, and she might be the one that she might have been the one to get people in trouble. Because it's people as high as lieutenant ranking in the department. Like,
okay.
They would have parties. They did parties.
Yeah, of course. That's something interesting.
Now, my trouble is, isn't Memphis known for what is it, the first 48?
No, not only Memphis, but
I know Memphis because everybody knows the lady from Memphis in first 48. Even I know her, and I don't even watch the show anymore.
Why?
The one detective, baby.
Why?
Something's heavy on your heart.
Why?
Well, something was heavy, but not on their heart. She should have been investigating them. That's why everybody getting shot up in there. That's why. They had something heavy. They needed some reliefs.
Help me. Somebody, come get this guy.
But yeah, that's the Tennessee update. Tennessee.
Now, I want to jump right into this next topic. This is going to be fun. All my viewers that's tuning in right now, get your comments ready because we're going to talk about something that's going to get y'all bubbling on the inside. Want to know what it is?
Y'all bubbling. Y'all better be disposing that bubble. Because I don't want y'all bubbling watching the show and then we get complaints.
If you want to know what it is, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you a business owner or someone looking for more ways and avenues to advertise and promote? Look no further. Contact us today for an advertisement. Email PD&J Media Productions LLC at gmail.com for more info. Promotions are everything. What are you waiting for?
Good job on that one. Thank you, buddy. Anyway, welcome back, folks. So let's jump right into it. And the comments are open. I want to get an answer to this question. How many of y'all have heard of the Slave Bible?
Or by its better name. That's what we call it. But the long-term name of it is Parts of the Holy Bible Selected for the Use of the Negro Slaves in the British West Indian Islands. That's the actual name of the Bible, in case y'all were wondering. We want to be technical.
Thus, it's called
the Slave Bible. Short people version. Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, Black people version. Anyway, reason why we bring this up, there was actually a story. I can't remember where it was from. What are you looking at?
You said we, so I was trying to figure out who you talking about.
Well, we came across this story. I mean, you sent it to me. I sent it to you. We came across it. Go figure. I don't know where this was being broadcasted from, so don't quote me on that. But it was talking about how the Slave Bible was literally meant to be censored and watered down. As a matter of fact, there was in the King James Version, there's 66 books of the Bible, correct? Mm-hmm. In the Slave Bible, there's only 14.
But even when take it one further, the original Bible was 73 books.
73 books.
So you got 73 to 66 to 14. And
then to go a little bit further, there's a little bit more than 73 books in the Bible, but we're not going to get into that. The problem that I have with this, at that time, the whole reason why the Negro Bible was created or the Slave Bible was created was to keep us oppressed. Had books of the Bible washed out. Go ahead.
Oh no, I almost said a verb. So.
Oh, I thought you had something to say. So it was watered down. Books are gone. It was tailored to having slaves be obedient to their masters. It was causing people to be oppressed. And we're bringing this up because at the end of the day, a lot of people didn't even know that the Slave Bible even existed. I talked to a couple of people, they didn't even know that the Slave Bible existed or what it even consisted of.
And it's on display in DC. So those of you on the East Coast, take a trip to DC where it's displayed. They have displayed excerpts of the Bible within the archives there.
And the thing that's sad, it looks just as thick as a normal Bible. The King James. When I say the normal Bible, I refer to the King James version. There's so many books of the Bible that's out there. Talk about the book that you were telling me about.
The Book of Enoch is not in there. That's part of the lost books. But with the lost books of the Bible, it pulls scriptures from Leviticus, which refer to, being a slave, but it also pulls out being obedient, being obedient to your master, and a slave is the right way to go. What people, I've always said, and I say this constantly, and Jay hears me say this, is as the oppressed, what I've realized, and I've said this to people outside of Jay too. What I realize is being the oppressed, we tend to focus on parts of the Bible that are most familiar. There's parts of the Bible that aren't as familiar, that need to be more expressed. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, for instance, how many times do you hear a black church say it's not of God to drink. Okay? It's not of God to be partier. It's not of God to do to love outside of your family. There's several different types of love. God preaches love, all kinds of love. I believe it's 3 or 4 different types of love. I have to go back and research, look at my notes. I didn't look at that, but there's 3 or 4 different types of love. But the problem is, a lot of these pastors, they'll take one scripture, which this is the human psyche, which this is where God gives us a choice. They can take one scripture
and they try to decipher the crap out of it.
No, they're talking about, you go to one. I'm talking about just looking at not just one pastor.
Okay.
You can have several pastors in one church take one scripture and give you different meanings.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
And guess what? It will appeal to each and every person in a different way, or offend at least one person while appealing to somebody else. Now it's gotten to the point nowadays, these pastors stay away from scriptures and they talk about themselves so much.
In a testimonial type of way. What they call testimonial.
And it's turned people from being Christians, churchgoers, to now people are talking about they're more spiritual than they are Christian.
What I wanted to talk about more so was you brought it up, the lost books of the Bible. There's some scriptures everybody wants to. I'm not knocking religion when I say this, but there's more information out there than what is privy to you if you look. Jesus was married and had kids. Am I lying?
No, you're not. It's a fact that he's had kids. People have been trying to down through the archives and pull it out, but because, as we know, there was no such thing as a birth certificate in year 1. I'm sorry, there was no birth certificate. We didn't have that until we had the concept of us being sold. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Us.
You said it.
Guess I'll go there. Us being sold. Take a picture. You know what? I never did this, and I'm going to do this. Take your social security card, turn over the number on the back, and Google it. See what you find. It's amazing. We don't even own ourselves.
Yeah, your social security number is basically a tax ID
it's a lot
number. It's a lot number, but also used as a tax ID number for trade and commerce. We all knew that.
We're already federally traded. We just don't know it.
Know that from the time that you get your birth certificate and
from the time you're born.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even that. The day you're born, they already got your number on stock.
Exactly, and it's sad. But going back to this,
people don't want to talk about the imperfections. They always want to talk about being perfect. What is perfect? Please, somebody explain to me. What is the perfect concept?
My thing about it is, let's just say, okay, that Jesus is God manifested in the flesh. That's what was told in religion, right?
That's what is stated in King James Version, which the Catholics do not accept.
And they denounce that, but that's what's said, right? He's a man of flesh. You cannot tell me that if we're made of his likeness,
in his image,
and in his image, that he didn't fall to the fleshly items that were given to him.
In other words, to decipher this even better, he came here to be as man, to see what
man was like.
Exactly what we were. So you can't say that he didn't have some fleshly values that happen. You can't say there was no temptation throughout his whole life.
Oh, he had temptation and he fell for some temptation. I don't know about all, but
he wanted to live like man. Quite simply. Up until his dying days, where he decided, I do need to sacrifice. I need to do this.
And that's another thing that you brought up that's kind of interesting. His last days. Now, everybody want to say he was 33 or 34 when he passed away, right? Well, in the lost books, I've read some scriptures where he was almost 40 or in his 40s.
It's because they wanted to make it look like, again, a man's not a man until you reach what?
40.
Well, if that's the case, I must be senior.
Look at all them damn grays.
That's wisdom. But no, seriously, folks, the concept of everyone, and I've grown up in the church, And I used to have these discussions with my mother and other people within the church, not to be bashful, not do anything like that. Help me understand, what is your interpretation? Why do you go to this church? Oh, because that pastor is a great speaker. That pastor, he delivers a great sermon. Well, what was yesterday? What was Sunday's sermon?
I don't
It's
remember.
now Thursday. It's Thursday. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's Wednesday. Can you tell me what Thursday sermon was? Better yet, you have service tonight. So can you be able to take notes and tell me what that was about? How many people can say that? How many people can say that the sermon that the pastor did 3 weeks ago still applies to you right now?
Or better yet, how many, and I grew up in the church as well. Part of the reason why, and this is just me personally, I don't go to church anymore is because you cannot trust these pastors that's leading these congregations anymore. So
You got the blind leading the blind.
Exactly. So the first question that comes to mind of anybody that's telling me to go out to their church and visit is your pastor living in his truth? You understand what I'm saying? Is your shepherd?
Because people will go to fight for the pastor. They'll go to fight for the pastor before their own blood, their children.
That is very true. And then come to find out, you got a Bishop Lamar in Whitehead. Yeah, I went there.
Well, he only got 10, not even 10 members.
Well, them 10 members got him 30 years.
No, he got himself 30 years. He didn't. He did that to himself. He did that all to himself. And I hope you're watching from your jail cell, from lockup. I don't care. Please say something out of your mouth. Please say something.
Oh, he already did, but whatever.
Please say something. I say that because as a minister, he has no humbleness. And that's, oh boy. Let me rewind. He's not the only one. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of them out there that have no humbleness. The number one thing about being a pastor is sacrifice. Hello? You can't lead without being led. I think I need to say it again. You cannot lead without being led. What does that mean? Anybody know what that means? Anybody?
Can't be a leader without being a follower.
Exactly. Everybody, and what's funny to me what's funny? People do exactly want to be that. Everybody wants to be the head. Everybody wants to have their own church. Everybody wants to be the head, but don't understand the struggles that a lot of them, the original ones, they're very few and far between, the struggles they went through to get where they are today, the struggles they had to go to, the trials that they were put through. Oh, wait a minute, but guess who else had trials? Jesus had trials he had to go through. He didn't just wake up overnight. He could have said, you know what, forget all this. I don't want to deal with any of this. You know what? I just snap my fingers and it's done. No, he didn't do that. He went through trials. He was tested. God let the devil test him, just like he lets every single one of his leaders, every single one of his actual pastors, bishops, archbishops, deacons, elders, trustees, every last one of them get tested on a daily basis to see, do you believe in me?
I got a question, and I don't know if anybody out there can answer this question to me. But a lot of these pastors and bishops that's preaching today still have the slave Bible mentality.
Oh, they do. Like I just said, they still
teach exactly.
They pick maybe 5 or 6 scriptures, and
it's out the same 14 books that's in the slave Bible. So why was the slave Bible created?
Well, let's just talk about when it was created. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
1802.
What happened in 1802?
So the West Indies. So those of you that aren't familiar with Jamaica, the islands. That's where we first went to, where the English went to those islands and decided they wanted to habitat.
Antigua, St. Croix, St. Thomas, Trinidad, Tobago.
All of the islands. People of the islands. They went there. They felt they could suppress them. And they did for a while. Until they started getting small.
Well, leave it to them. They were looking to colonize and Christianity, however you want to get that word, to the world.
And they sent the missionaries. So what are missionaries?
Christopher Columbus.
What are missionaries? When we think about missionaries, what do you think? I think about these women in the long black dresses, the long dresses, and things like that. No, that's not how they looked.
Not back then.
No, not then. They knew what they sent these purely
Pirates.
white,
Look like pirates.
purely white women and with these men on these missions, on these islands to brainwash these people, reading to them. They couldn't read. They couldn't read like how they wanted to read. So what did they do? They picked 14 books, certain scriptures out of those books. Oh, this one's got a lot of scriptures about being enslaved. All right, let me take that one. That one's good. I don't want that one. So they picked 14 books with the most scriptures of being enslaved. Took them there to have these missionaries go there. And then some of the scriptures that slipped in some of those books were talking about being freed, how to get free. So what did they do? They didn't look at those scriptures. They focused on
I believe they did. They were just doing that to create a false sense of hope.
No, they didn't. That's the whole thing. They didn't focus on those scriptures. They went through those scriptures, but they didn't focus. You understand? Mm-hmm. They focused on the ones about being servant of servitude, which is funny because when you think about servitude, it goes back to what I just said. You have to be led to be a great leader. There's always somebody above you to be a great leader. If you're all the way at the top and you ain't, and nobody's leading you, we might as well call you God. Isn't that how it should work? Just because you're the president doesn't mean there's somebody above you. Okay, let me say it again. Just because you're the president doesn't mean there's not somebody above you. Just your president is mostly a puppet. And I'm not just talking about the United States. I'm talking about any leader in any country, with the exception of a few communist countries, and see how much turmoil those countries have. People talk about our turmoil. Let's talk about their turmoil. We don't see it as publicly as we do because we put our stuff out there. Freedom of speech. All of our stuff is out there. People talk about how bad we are. Is it really that bad? We don't know compared to everybody else because we put our stuff out there.
Yeah, it is.
Just like the freedoms we have with the Bible. And what I mean by that is the interpretations. You can go to 4, like I said, within one church, you can have 4 different pastors give you one scripture and give their own interpretation, which that is the freedom that God gave us, the freedom of choice. Freedom of choice.
Now that choice that you make
is up to you.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a lot. And it's saddening to hear that there was a Bible that was actually made. Religion is supposed to be free for all and this, that, and everything else, but you literally have a Bible that was out there made to oppress and suppress people. It's sad. It's heartbreaking.
No, well, here's what I want to do. I want to take it out of Christianity. Let's talk about the other religions. What did they do to enslave people?
Explain that.
No, not really an explanation.
Well,
it's found.
Well,
what did the other religions do to enslave people?
They said they will be cursed.
So pretty much the same thing, huh? But what did they not? What did they do? They didn't just tell you they would be cursed. They would tell you you could be stoned. They didn't tell you you wouldn't get into heaven. They told you you could be stoned. That's a scary sight to understand, to get stoned. Do you understand? To get hit with stones over and over and over and you can't do nothing? You can just sit there and scream in pain and they're gonna keep going until it's over. Till it's over. And you know when it's over? They always say it's over when who? God says it's over. So he don't ever say nothing. And you screaming in pain, God help me. Allah help me. Buddha help me. Well, I'm sorry, the number you're trying to reach is unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep.
But it doesn't always happen that way though.
Oh no.
It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes you do call and you do get that answer. Might not be the answer that you're looking for. Might not be on the timeline that you're looking for, but you do get an answer.
And that's the old school saying. He may not come when you want him, but you know what? He show up on time.
And I do believe that to this day. We're like we said before we even got into this, we're not knocking religion. I'm actually a religious person myself. Pocket is as well.
No, no. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. I have not spoken what I am. I believe in the concept of religion, but I am more spiritual than I am religious now. So what does that mean? Because you cannot trust. There's not one church that I've walked into, with the exception of my own, that I can trust and believe they have the best intentions.
So you think that's the difference between being religious and spiritual? Okay.
The concept of religion has evolved us to be spiritual. If you can grow that way. Not everybody can. Some people still need to go to get that religious fix. Some people, they fall by the wayside 6 days a week. And that 7th day.
Well, see, I guess I consider myself to be religious, knowing that there's different religions that's out there, and trying to understand that there's a common denominator, if that makes sense, between all religions. Because a lot of the religions that's out there, common denominator is do not put nobody before me. You get what I'm saying? So knowing that there's different religions out there makes me religious, but I agree with you when it comes to the spiritual part of it. I definitely agree with you on that.
Reason why I say I'm more spiritual than religious, because I don't get caught up too much in religion, because you can't. Because you cannot get caught up in religion, because if you do that, you're going to miss the boat. You're going to miss the boat. And what I mean by miss the boat is that you're not going to be able to catch the meaning. You're going to miss something. Being spiritual, that means you look at it at a different level. You look at it a different way. You'll be able to decipher it better. You'll be able to understand what's being said. And then also, you'll be able to see through the bullshit. I'm just going to come out and say it. You're going to be able to see through it when you're spiritual.
Now, we know one part of the book of the Bible, not to cut you off. One part talks about Moses, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is how watered down the book of the slave Bible is. They don't talk about Moses in the slave Bible. Why? Because the slave owners were afraid.
Not just afraid. What was Moses in the Bible? He freed
the slave. Yeah.
That's why they were afraid of a revolt. So they tiptoed around those scriptures. They tiptoed around that one. So I think they focused on oh my gosh, what's his name? Is it not Jeremiah?
Jacob.
Yes, Jacob. I knew it was a J word. I just couldn't. They focused more on Jacob. You want to tell them, explain that about Jacob?
Well, it depends on what version of Jacob you want to talk about, because
his pre-deception before.
Okay. So the whole thing about Jacob.
Jeremiah was a bull for all that. I couldn't. Every time I hear that name, I think of that song.
Oh God!
I'm sorry. Every time I hear the name Jeremiah, I think of Jeremiah was a bull for all.
Oh Lord Jesus, I can't even continue. Go ahead.
Well, see, Jacob, he was a slaver. He had many slaves before he got saved.
Many of them.
And he was another man that eventually, God spoke to.
But keep in mind, Yaqub was not a paleface, as they call it.
Actually, not many people in the Bible were pale.
That's a whole nother.
It's funny. We're getting close to Black History Month. What we have scheduled for you for Black History Month, it's going to be a little different this year. We're going to do our shout-outs. We're going to do our education, but it's going to be more differently. We're going to do things a little bit different for Black History Month this year. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be huge.
But going back to Jacob, I like to call him by his Hebrew, Yaqub.
First of all, I don't acknowledge Hebrews. They don't acknowledge us.
Oh boy.
I had my Kyrie moment. I'm good. If we're censored next week, you know why. But yeah, Until they acknowledge the Black Jew, why should we acknowledge them?
Because they didn't.
Nope.
If you're not gonna let me speak, then what's the answer then?
Because there is no answer to that.
So you're not
Because
gonna
the Black
let me
Jew came first. The Black Jew came first.
I was just gonna say that.
So again, it goes back to till they acknowledge the Black Jew, why should we acknowledge them?
And for you, there's no answer to it.
There is no answer to that. Acknowledge them first, and then I acknowledge you. Because they were here first. They came before you. Acknowledge them and honor them. And then we'll see.
Mike, we'll take that into consideration. I'll look into that.
Rumble, young man, rumble.
So,
if that sounds harsh, and I know I have a lot of Jewish friends, I don't want to. I'm not here to offend anybody. I tell you that right now. I'm speaking from the truth of what I see. Things not being acknowledged the right way. Okay, because I'll be the first one to say it. There's been a lot of oppression by Jews, but there's also been a lot of oppression on Jews. I'm going to acknowledge that. I'll acknowledge both. But at the same time, you knocked down what was before you and stepped over it to get where you are.
But doesn't that always happen to us?
It does.
Doesn't that always happen?
But the thing is, what do I speak? Not what always happened, what needs to change now. You need to stop rolling over. Stop slave mentality. We'll go back to it. The slave Bible, slave mentality. It's been on for years. We've been oppressed for how long? And I'm not just talking about black people. I'm talking about your brown people. I'm talking about the Haitians. They don't acknowledge being black.
They don't. Dominicans.
They don't acknowledge being black. But you are by the color of your skin. We're all the same. Light, dark, in between, caramel complected. I don't care. We're all been enslaved at some point. Stop letting people roll over you, run over you. That goes for anybody. That goes for everybody, actually.
But do you see that changing in our lifetime? I don't. I hate to sound pessimistic about it.
Well, you're pessimistic about 95% of stuff that comes out of your mouth.
But
you're talking about you don't, because you're not seeing the movement that's happening. I see the movement that's happening.
But do you see it making a change in our lifetime?
If I didn't see it making a change in our lifetime, then guess what? We wouldn't be able to vote. We wouldn't be able to do half the crap that's been going on. We wouldn't be able to have upward. We wouldn't have the freedoms that we have, that people have fought for from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, today, tomorrow, the next day, and the next day, the next year, the next 10 years. People are fighting for it. And the minute you sit there and say, oh, I don't see it in my lifetime, it's because you're not the one out there fighting. You're not trying to fight. You're not trying to do anything to change it.
So, as far as everything that you just, the voting, or let me go back, everything that predated us, all the movements that was made before us, okay? Certain movements that was made.
Actually, I'll say this, movements that were started before us.
Started before us, that's continuous now. But don't you see it as a revolving circle with some changes that's happening, but not the big change that needs to happen?
No, because you got to think about this. Let's talk about like trying to think of here, a storm.
Okay.
Let's start with a storm. So a storm starts off in the water.
Let's say it. Okay.
And as it gets closer to the land, what happens? A lot of things start shaking.
Okay.
People start getting uneasy. People
like
start
the calm
pointing
before
their
the
fingers.
storm. I get you. Okay.
People kind of start kind of panicking. They see the storm coming, but then it's out there. We ain't got to worry about it right now. We ain't got to worry about that. But the closer it gets, oh, now the winds start coming on land. Uh-oh. The water starts rumbling. This kind of sounds like what's going on in California right now. I just thought about that with the typhoon or whatever it was that started off low water. And all of a sudden now you're looking, and guess what? It's here. The storm is here. The storm's now passed. Look at all this mess that we tried to hide that came up after the storm.
So what ramifications do you think is going to happen after the storm?
Stuff has already happened.
Yeah, I see stuff. Do you see the reparations happening?
Reparations, get it out of your head. Here's the thing is,
a form of it.
There's a reason. The reason why we won't get reparations.
Or any form of it?
reason why we won't get reparations is the number one thing is they're so busy dishing out money to other countries before taking care of
I agree with you on that. That I do agree with you on.
Then what they will do, they will take pieces of certain things and say, look what I did for you. I gave you all that. What do I mean by that?
Going back to your face.
They will sit there. There's scholarships made for minorities, specifically for minorities that nobody knows about. Scholarships. What does that mean? And these scholarships, actually, let me tell you about not scholarship, because scholarships you gotta work for. It's more of a grant because you don't pay it back. Scholarships you really don't pay back either. But it's meant for minorities. How many people knew about that? How many people know? There's ones that are out there every year that nobody uses, nobody tries to go for.
And there's new ones that come up every year.
Every year, because people fight for this all the time.
So people that are looking to go back to school, that you feel like you're in that group, look into them. They're not going to advertise them, but they are available. I knew about them when I was going to school. Or should I say when I went back to school, I found 3 of them. That is kind of crazy how I came across those.
Another thing to think about, how are things changing? So you had, what was it? I was trying to think how that guy got caught with the 23andMe. You're getting more of those things out there that people are finding out.
Ancestry.com.
Ancestry,
yeah.
You find out people. Because you know what they're trying to do, and this is what they're literally trying to do. They want to see.
They're tracking that.
Who are you?
Yeah, and they're tracking that.
And
too.
You want to know who you are. They want to know who you are.
And on the government level, they are tracking that. One thing
though, if you have committed any crimes in your past and you left any DNA, do not do the DNA test.
Because they will keep.
Because you will get caught. It's been happening.
Yeah, 3 people got convicted over that. But what I was gonna say in regards to the Ancestry.com and stuff like that, it's funny. All you Caucasians that's out there that want to be white pride and this, that, and everything else, y'all got some color in your line. Go look it up. Y'all got some color in your family line.
What are we on the tribe of? If you want to go biblical, what are we? And it's not in the Bible. I believe it's in every single Bible. You know, I say Bible, I'm talking about the Quran. I'm talking about the Buddhist Bible. I'm talking about
the Holy Bible.
Yeah, I'm talking about every last one of them. We're all from the tribe of
Shabazz,
a.k.a. Abraham. Shocker. So if we're all from the same tribe, doesn't that mean we all kind of have
the same bloodline? Similar
bloodline, watered down. What's funny, it only goes back a certain amount of time before it stops on that 23andMe because they ain't gonna go back that far.
They don't want to.
They're afraid that if they go back that far, we all gonna be looking at each other.
I could just think about the and I don't want to use this term so recklessly, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Just think about the white folks that's listening to us right now. That's like, oh my God, I have black in me. Are you saying I have black in me? Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So he says black, I say African. That's what
I say original man.
I say the original African. Because black is a color that I don't associate with.
That is very true. That is very true. And thank you for reminding me of that. But as far as even like, I say original man because even African, just that label to me is just off. Just all labels, African, Caucasian, Spanish, it's all off to me because you're all from a man who happens to be of color.
That nobody wants to accept. It hasn't accepted. And that's terrible, man. That is terrible. Stop denying your culture. Stop denying. Stop it. Stop denying each other. Stop hating on each other. Stop hating each other.
For what?
There's so much hate that to the point sometimes it's disgusting. And I'm going to speak to this. I really wasn't going to speak to this. This is not part of the show, but I am going to speak to this. Social media. What do I like to call them? Keyboard gangsters.
Where are we going with this one?
I've seen on posts on a family member's page from another family member who just is so negative that I actually had to say something.
What happened?
So long story short, it was a Postmate, and this person went on there and was just so vile in their comment. And it really disturbed that person. I was like, you know what? Hold my beer. And I don't even drink beer. You get the notion what I'm saying. Hold my drink real quick. Let me shut this troll up. I made my post. And I had quite a few likes and people commenting on what I said. And commenting and agreeing. Because like my whole thing is if you are going through life, you're having such a bad life, terrible life. And when you see somebody post something positive, to come out and say, you really believe that stuff you're posting, huh? First of all, what if they do? Because it's positive. It gets them through their day. It helps them think positive about their life in their day.
It inspires others.
And it's exactly the inspiration that it can not only bring to them, but to others. For you to post something that's negative, and not just one time, but every time, come on. Maybe you need to reevaluate what your priorities and what is not making you happy because you're not happy. So therefore, something needs to change in your life. Something to change in what you're doing. What they say, reprogram that DNA or change your position was one of the sermons I heard one time that really enlightened me from a pastor. Change your spiritual position, change your physical position, change whatever it is. When you get too comfortable, it's time to get uncomfortable. When you're too comfortable, it is time to get uncomfortable. I'll say that again. Matter of fact, I like the way that sounds. I think I'll say it one more time. When you get too comfortable, it's time to get uncomfortable.
Let that sink in. That wraps it up for the Slave Bible portion. Stick tuned. We got sports right next.
Hey, you. Me? Yes, you. What up? Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Hell yeah! GLM Designs can help you with just that. Word? From laptop skins? You lying! Promotional flyers? Yo, son! Promo videos? I need that! OBS Twitch overlays and backgrounds. Hey, yo, let me get that! Professional one-sheets and so much more.
Oh my god.
Please visit our website,
I'm on it right now.
GottaLoveMeWorld.com today to check out our designs.
Get it!
Follow us on social media at Gotta Love Me World.
Follow it!
GLM Designs are here to take care of all your graphic needs.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Brand new episode of PD&J. What's good today? I'm your host, Jay.
And I'm your host, Pocket.
So let's get into it. We started this last week. It's a new subject.
New segment.
Segment that we're going to call Jackass of the Week. So, this particular Jackass of the Week comes from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey, I'm here for it. Go ahead.
Really? CPR celebration? Not even a week later? I don't care if you do it all the time.
It's not funny, but it's funny.
A CPR celebration. And the boy is from Pittsburgh. Seriously? Bad taste. Very bad. Like when I heard about it, I was like, oh, but then when I saw it, then you know what their excuse is, even on their public relations?
Before you go there, let's take it back. So Pittsburgh had a game this past week. Okay. They scored a touchdown.
No, they got a sack.
Okay, I'm sorry. They got a sack. And the defense wanted to be able to celebrate the sack because I think that basically sealed the game for them or something like that. So they decided to celebrate. The celebration was the CPR.
Now, I will say this. They didn't show the player that was doing the CPR, but the player the CPR was done on, I will give him props. He jumped up and pushed him away. Like, what the hell? Like, yeah, the man is still in the hospital.
So that is our Jackass of the Week. It's the whole Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Sorry, bad taste. Now, speaking of DeMar Hamlin, he did get released and go home
Today.
So
Speaking about being spiritual, if you don't believe You might slightly do now. And I'm just going to say that.
For those that don't know what happened, Damar Hamlin 2 weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, right?
It's a week and a half. It happened Monday.
Yeah, a week and a half ago last Monday.
Monday Night Football, about not even
5 minutes into the game.
Well, let's see, it was about 9 minutes into the game. He made a hit.
And he died.
And he literally died. They brought him back. And then he died again in the hospital and brought him back. And now brain function is normal.
Motor skills
are
normal.
Well, not normal. He's still doing rehab. He is still doing rehab because, the body still, after a shocking incident like that, still got to kind of.
But it's not as bad as what the doctors expected it to be. It's not nearly as bad. He was able to walk, talk. So, yeah, shout out to Damar Hamlin.
Shout out to the Buffalo Bills and
the Hamlin family, the medical staff at the Buffalo Bills.
And the Bengals.
And the Bengals. But I can't remember the guy's name that initiated the CPR originally.
Yeah, they gave him a game ball.
Yeah.
No, sorry, not a game ball, a touchdown ball. They gave him a touchdown ball. So, and then I recommend the NFL, like all the teams, even everybody that wore number 3, they poured their heart out. They even had, T-shirts. But I'm still stuck on the Steelers, man. You guys, you dropped the ball. I don't care what's funny is some of the people tried to flip it like, oh, they're celebrating because no, that's not a celebration you do not even a week after a man died and was brought back to life. And the worst thing about it is he is from Pittsburgh. Your coach, he knows him personally, talked to him since he was 12 years old, and you do something like that? I don't care how you handled it in-house. That should have been, whatever you did in-house should have been brought out public.
Well, Mike Tomlin always an in-house person.
Until you had Antonio Brown showing everything and Le'Veon Bell showing everything on social media.
True.
True. And Juju on a beat dancing and doing TikTok dances instead of practicing.
So that's it for Jackass of the Day or Jackass of the Week. For those that want to continue to see the Jackass of the Week, hit that thumbs up. Hit that like button. We want to know. Also, what's going on in sports?
Well, as we know, this past week, we had a hell of a sold out and broke numbers event for
Tank, David! Oh, I'm sorry. I just had to do it. I have to do it.
I like to just take it back home. The West Baltimore Lexington Street homeboy. I'm sorry. I'm a little partial. My mother grew up in the same neighborhood as Tank. Yeah, he did what he does.
TKO on the 9th round.
Actually, let me do Coach Calvin. He do what he do. He do what he do.
But he did it.
He done it.
He did it.
He TKO 9th round. He hit the man so hard
that he didn't even come out. He didn't even want to come out. He pulled what Mike Tyson do to that one? It wasn't Buster Douglas. Who was the one that was crying in the corner and didn't want to come and fight him in the next round? Who is that? You know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I know who the boxer was.
Okay.
But it was another no mas situation. I like to say that. That's more because it speaks more.
Okay.
But a no mas situation. But the whole thing was dangerous because he said he couldn't see out of his eye.
And that was from a jab.
No, it was
a hook. I'm sorry, a hook.
He got hit in the temple. He got an uppercut, and he got hit kind of right here. People were trying to say it was an illegal hit. It wasn't illegal with it because the man went down to it. And Tank, he knocks out cruiserweights. He hurts him. So the man is he's a beast.
So what's next to him is Ryan Garcia, and I can't wait for that fight.
Ryan Garcia. My thoughts on the fight. I'm glad to see this. It's the fights we wanted. This is the year for boxing. We said this at the end of last year. But coming into this year, because now we've got in April now, you have Tank against Ryan, you have Keith Thurman against Errol Spence.
And aren't they finalizing the deal with Shakur Stevenson?
They can't anybody fight. They can't get anybody to fight.
I think they got somebody from Japan that's going to fight.
Yeah, but it's just who should be fighting him. They couldn't get him to fight.
Okay.
All the top guys won't fight him, which is fine. Then you got
they scared of that, man.
They got Devin Haney fighting Lomachenko finally. At some point, you've got the heavyweight undisputed fight coming, Usyk and Fury, which that's going to be a hell of a fight. This is a great year for boxing. UFC again. I will never promote UFC now. Now that we know Dana White is not getting any kind of repercussion for smacking his wife, I'm done with UFC. They never got a penny from me any damn way because I don't watch it. I don't watch anything UFC. I will never because of that. There needs to be some accountability there. His board of directors, someone needs to hold him accountable. It's bad enough your fighters don't have a pension. It's bad enough you don't pay them but pennies on the dollar. But now you're slapping your wife at a New Year's party. Apologized about it. And that's it. Gotta do better. Somebody gotta hold him accountable.
And that's boxing, folks. Let's go into our parlays. We got some interesting games tonight. We have San Antonio Spurs versus the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm gonna take the Grizzlies.
You know what? We can't pick the same teams no more. Because I'm gonna tell you what happened last week. Both games we picked, both teams lost.
Yeah.
And I'm a Lakers fan and they won. I was surprised.
So I'm taking the Grizzlies. I'm taking the Kings over the Rockets, and I'm taking the Nuggets over the Suns. I'm going against my Suns this time. They haven't been playing good basketball.
Well, they beat the Warriors yesterday with Steph Curry back, so I don't know.
I'm going to take the Nuggets over the Suns. Who you taking? We can't take the same teams.
I can't take no fucking Spurs. You know what? I'll take the points. I'm gonna take the points.
You don't take the Spurs with the points or the Grizzlies?
No, I'm just taking points.
Okay.
I'm taking. I think it's gonna be under 241. Under. I'm taking the under 241.
So are you taking the Grizzlies with the under?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do it really quick. So we may be picking the same teams, but I'm taking it a little bit further. Rockets and Kings. The Rockets they show up when you don't think they're gonna show up. And the Kings, they got a squad. I mean,
they got a squad.
Mike Brown has been playing good ball.
4-1 over the last 5 games. Yes.
But the Rockets, they're beating teams they shouldn't be beating.
That is true too. But I think with this one being at home for Sacramento, I think they're going to get the win.
You know, I'm going to take the under with the Rockets.
Really?
I'm going to take the under with the Rockets. 9.
Wow.
9 in the NBA is not a lot. Is not a lot.
So
9 points is not a lot.
So you're not taking the points, but you're taking the over-under.
Yeah, taking the over-under.
Okay.
Let's see. Suns, Nuggets. Suns surprised me last night. They played pretty hard. They played rough. It is the Nuggets, though. The Nuggets are disappointing. I'm going to say it. How are the Lakers beat 3 out of 4 games this year?
Yeah.
And we've seen the Lakers. They've been short. Man, that's a rough one.
But the over-under is 227. Points is 14.5.
There's no way. I don't see a 14.5 beat down. I don't. That's a rough one.
You got to make a pick here. Running out of time.
You know what? Actually, if I'm going to take the Nuggets, I'm going to take the under 14.5.
So you heard it here. He's taking the over-under on. He's taking the under on all of them.
Yep.
Every last one of them. Guys, when it comes to giving you our picks, these are our personal picks. Please play responsibly, gamble responsibly. Don't lose your livelihood over this.
And if you got a gambling problem, the problem is a 1-800 number you can call. I don't know it because I don't gamble.
And don't
But if you need it, Google it.
And don't get mad at us if you lose.
But you know what? Getting back to it, this is one of if you guys are wondering, wow, things were different today. Yeah, because we didn't really talk religion last year, and it's been requested that we talk about some things regarding religion, which is fine. But we're still here. We're still the same group. There's topics out there that I know you guys want to go over too. Any suggestions? Put them in the chat. Hit us up. Put them in the comments on the YouTube page, on Facebook, on Instagram. What was it, Twitch? And what's the other one?
YouTube.
Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. All of our Facebook pages are his, mine, the group page. YouTube page, the Twitch page, the Twitter page, anything you can think of that you may want to, or inboxes, email, is right there in front of you. PD&J Media, the Cash App, PD&J Media Productions, LLC at Gmail. Any suggestions you have, we listen and we try to do it. If we don't cover it that week, we might cover it the next week. We'll get to it. Trust me. I appreciate all of you.
So we love every last one of you guys. What a great show. Tune in next week and every week, every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Same bat station, same bat time. Get us.
Why do you gotta be so violent talking about bats, man?
Because I love bats. Love to swing the bat.
Well, word for the week:
Bat.
edumacate.
Bat.
Edumacate yourself.
Bat. We love you guys. Until next week. Have a blessed and safe week.
A blazing selfie.
Yeah, that too. And shout out to the Scott family. My prayers and condolences go to you guys. Grandma Scott passed away earlier this morning, so my prayers and condolences to you. Till next week, we love each and every one of you guys. See you next week.